Damn. If that music didn't let you know already, Steel Division 2 is here. Hi everyone, welcome. Good to see you all here. How we all doing, Chad? Welcome everybody. Steel Division 2 is out of beta and finally released. Yes, mini campaign missions available, mini single player missions available, and of course, the multiplayer too. Very coveted. Of course, from Eugen Systems, the legends behind these massive multiplayer games. Now Steel Division 2 is here, featuring the Eastern Front, 1944. There's a lot of story going on here, too. If you don't know much about it, you can actually go to the Army General mode, read about a lot of things here taking place during 1944 in Belarusia. The Operation Bagraton, I think is the name of it, and the Soviets are essentially advancing towards the German border inch by inch, day by day. And if you want some real difficulty and challenging missions, this is definitely the mode for you. Army General mode is kind of like the campaign mode, featuring 4 different campaigns. And the greatest thing about the missions is that you can finally play as either side. So if you're familiar with Eugen Systems games like Wargame, Red Dragon, Air-Land Battle, or European Escalation, and even Steel Division, they've made some great improvements upon that. And you can, it's really got that Eugen feel to it. So we'll see exactly how everything's go. Hi there, everybody. Good to see you all here. I'm going to take a look then at a few of the missions from historical battles today, and then maybe a multiplayer match or two. Got a couple hours to cover a few things. I've already played some of these historical battles, but the nice thing is there's replayability multiple times, because you can play against the AI as the Soviets or the Germans, and then you get multiple divisions to play as. So you can play as, for example, the 84th Guard Rifles, 16th Guards Rifle Division, or the 2nd Sappers. Another cool thing about this game, which many people are looking forward to, or at least love to dig themselves into, is the Armory. So yeah, it's basically armorhub.com, essentially. The British, Canadians, and Americans and Free French forces will be in here too through DLCs and pre-orders. I think if you earn or own the previous version, that might be a way to do that. But you'll have to check the store page for more details. But great detail in all these vehicles. When I make these videos a lot, people are always asking for close-ups, and this is a really great way to get that. The game is both macro and micro at the same time. Battle can come down to infantry being inside of a building, changing the entire tide of the battle. So there's a lot of different things to be weary about and concerned about and to monitor during these battles, so it can be a real white-knuckle situation. So if you're unfamiliar with a lot of things from World War II, this is a great encyclopedia to get started. It's certainly a steep learning curve like all of Eugen games are, but it shouldn't deter you. It's easy to learn, but difficult to master. That's a much better way to put that. So you can see everything from the American units, even Lend-Lease units that the Soviets were granted by the Allies as well from the West. So lots of great information, lots of great detail, and lots of different divisions. Hence the name Steel. They should have called it Steel Divisions, or maybe instead of Steel Division 2, they should have named it Steel Division like 600. I don't quite remember how many units are available in the game, but there's quite a few different divisions you can play as, all with their own different history and background, and all unique units. In fact, I found out today that there was actually a remote bomb unit. I want to actually take a look at that for future reference. Let's go ahead and check. Let's see if I can search by that. Remote bomb. I can't remember what the name of it was. Well, anyway, it's a super special weapon. I wonder where it is. Oh, that is it right there. The Borgvard, a remote explosive. So literally, it's just like a little driving bomb. All right, I'm gonna get excited. Wait a minute, what? Oh, there's no steering wheel. Okay. Well, anyway, let's get into the action. Good to see you all here. If you like Steel Division 2, of course, you can always make a purchase on Steam at any time and give it a go for yourself, and see all the historical battles on your own terms. I'm going to start with Terminus, I think that's Krupki. Krupki Station, June 28, 1944. The delaying action fought by Bober by the Kampfgruppe Bordeaux brought Schwerpanzer, oh my goodness, Albelgung 505 precious time to detrain its Tiger heavy tanks at Krupki Station, just behind the front line. Their objective was to stabilize the defenses and deny the Soviet the use of the highway, but on the 28th, another Soviet assault, this time coming from the north and supported by partisans, managed to enter Krupki proper and engage the Tigers where they were most vulnerable close range. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we can play as, let's see, elements from the Korbuk 559 and Panzer 505, and then also let's see, 2nd Guards Motorized Brigade and the Belarusian Partisans. So lots to do. Lots to play with for sure. Okay, well, let's go back then and check out the units here. I think I played previously as the Germans, I think, on this one. Or no, I think I actually played as the Soviets to break through. So I've already experienced this mission, but not as the Germans, who will be defending with their heavy units. So we'll see exactly how this one goes. Second guards motorized. If you're wondering what you're facing against, there's an option at the bottom to view decks, which are essentially kind of how you go into battle. It's really the only way to create your units. So you have defenses if you're defending. In this case, we will be, which is a huge, huge plus. This is one of the things that sets Steel Division apart from any other previous Eugen game, is the fact that you can build defenses, and that includes barbed wire, trenches, bunkers for both machine gun, anti-tank weapons, and gun pits for mortars and more. So it really makes this game a lot more interesting to cling on to your territory and to smash it into the enemy's lines and just push them right back and sweep them aside if you have the right units. So we see that we'll have some American-made Shermans against us for the Soviets, and then also don't want to switch team here. I want to take a look at the view deck. There we go. And we also see that we'll have a lot of partisan units against us as well. They've broken through, and now it's time for us to plug the gap. So let's begin and see how we can hold against the enemy. I think they're set to medium. Yeah, I'm not the best player in the world, of course, so I'll just keep it on medium. It's a good way to learn. But the difficulty gets more difficult, of course, as you crank it up to, I think, insane difficulty is the highest level you can go. Beautiful in-game art, too. A lot of the things I've been hearing from all the Eugen games is that players wanted different loading screens, different images, different art. And here we are. So we got to defend both the city and the station where the Tigers have been offloaded. And this is what I really like about this. These battlefields are a 1-to-1 scale. So Eugen Systems literally took aerial maps and modern-day satellite photos of the area to try to make the most realistic maps and battlefields possible. And this is what's great about multiplayer, is that they just didn't create a generic map. They actually created a kind of like a scenario for each multiplayer map. These are from battles. These are historical elements. This is interesting. Okay, well, let's get started then by setting down our defenses. That's another thing that's new to Steel Division as well. As I mentioned, we can put down bunkers and trenches pretty much everywhere. And the Soviets are going to be coming from multiple bridges here. And then I think it's going to be a little easier for us to defend the station, because there's only one bridge that they can cross there, unless they happen to cross up here. So you got to do a lot of scanning of the map. Of course, high ground is also very important in these games. If you press the C key, which is the default hotkey, you can see ranges and line of sight. Very, very helpful. That was just a huge plus from the previous Steel Division, and now it's here again. So you can see line of sight where it might be best to put up AT guns, that type of thing. Alright, well, we got limited points, and PaK 50mm are quite effective. So I'm going to put a couple of those near the bridge here. See if I can cut off Soviet units that might try to advance. Put one in the back there, and then we'll have units up front. Let's try to put down another PaK gun over here. And I think I will guard... Well, there's another bridge here, but it is not connected. So the maps kind of expand past the playing border, and you can see what awaits you. Alright, I don't know... Oh, there's all these buildings are in the way. Too bad I don't have the option to drive them over with a tank at the start of the battle. Let's see, I guess we can put them over here. I'd played this against the AI a day ago or two, and the AI had a real big success in putting PaK bunkers here. They were very difficult to destroy, even from the air. So we'll see how everything goes. Okay, let me see if we can put down some machine guns next. Boy. I think we'll probably end up putting some machine guns tucked in, maybe over here by the village. The Soviets do have a ability to kind of steamroll with a lot of units at the start, so we got to be cautious about that. Also, the defenses do cost some points as well, so you need to it's like balancing a military budget. You don't want to spend everything just on defenses, but not all the defenses cost points either. Some of them are only worth just a couple points or 0 based off of what you want to do. I guess I'll put a machine gun somewhere over here. Let's actually put it there, and then I'll put the bunker next to it too. Probably not wise to put two of these next to each other, because it's very easy to destroy them with artillery. That we're against AI, so we don't have to worry about that too much. Trenches are another great thing in this game. There are certain game modes in multiplayer too where you can build defenses and have your friends or the AI try to attack you, or you can try to break through the AI's defenses. It really makes for a really interesting time. And try to put some trenches here. If you hold shift, you can make all sorts of different patterns. So this one is going to be M for I love this game. Alright, let's launch battle. Now I'd go ahead and get some tigers out. You can put those down ahead of time. And I'm just going to get started with the action then. So we're going to see how our defenses hold. So you can lay out your units at the start of a battle, or you can call them out during the battle. In this case, I want to see how the AI reacts just to having no units out on the field, aside from a couple of defenses, so we'll see how it goes. Additionally, I plan to make my main hold at the Krupki station. Oh, there's already aircraft out too, so we got plenty of points to spend when we get to Phase B. And, of course, you can put down barbed wire and more trenches too, but I want to see a little bit more of this game in action today. If you want to put down trenches along here and barbed wire along the roads, you can do that. But the game doesn't let you cheese it out by basically blocking everything with barbed wire. So we'll see how it goes. Well, we're already blocking some stuff coming to the town. And I'm trying to mimic a strategy that I saw from the AI the other day, where they essentially abandoned the town, except for a few units, and then they tried to focus on the station. And I think I barely was able to break through on that one. So the AI can sometimes give you some ideas for your own attacks and defenses that you normally wouldn't think of. Alright, let's get a commander squad out. And of course, these infantry units are very helpful. There's a new feature in the game where command units staying next to infantry will give them a bonus, as well as supported by a commander. So with the commander unit, you can give your units extra bonus. Oh yeah, the Soviets found their way right around. But we are opening up on, like, for example, the 50 millimeters and such. So maybe we can re-attack that area. Or hold against everything they've got. We'll see exactly how everything works. Okay, so it looks like... Are we only getting reinforcements from one area? Okay, yeah. If you zoom out towards the start of a battle, too, you'll see where you get your reinforcements. And ours are probably only going to be coming in from the right flank. I don't think there's any other areas we can capture, if anything. So the Soviets are kind of pushing right through. And they didn't send too many units over there anyway. So it's probably smart for me to take a little action over here. So we're going to try to pump some infantry into the area as well as some tigers. Alright, there's a lot of Soviet troops approaching here on the main highway. And more reinforcements are on their way too. So you can set up a giant defense right at the start of a battle. You can bring in your reinforcements throughout the entirety of the battle. There's many different phases in the game too. So you've got phase A, B, and C where you get access to different units. And so the battle develops throughout the conflict. Oh yeah, we're going to get absolutely pushed out of town here. Let's try a couple of mortars. Enemy aircraft up. That's probably recon again. Yep, PO2 recon aircraft. And these troops are disheartened as they're fighting. It's very interesting. There's a lot of different historical context here. For example, there's NKVD troops that will fight much differently and have different capabilities, such as I believe they give some sort of command bonus to troops that are around them because they're essentially special police. Wow, we kind of just abandoned that pocket over there. The enemy hasn't even cleared us out. They kind of just took the objective and are moving elsewhere. Alright, well, let's do the same here. We'll move up this way. I just want to see a big defense of the train station and see if we can do it. Although I didn't do myself any favors by clicking launch battle at the start. A little bit better would have been to put down trenches near both those bridges and hold the bridges for as long as possible. Soviet troops might be having second thoughts about attacking. We got 40 men standing pretty much next to each other, so that's a perfect target for the enemy to drop any sort of anti-aircraft fire or bombs on us from aircraft. We don't have any anti-aircraft, so that would be a benefit for them. Right, let's have the squad sneak around up here. So recon squads, of course, help to discover enemy units. and increase the range of your units as well in terms of their line of sight, so that's very helpful. And let's get these mortars deployed and start chewing away at the Soviets. A lot of enemy units out there, and like the mission said, we only get Tigers to start with. So that's really the only tanks we're going to be seeing here today. Oh, excellent. Enemy unit destroyed. Alright. So we're also instructed with retaking that position there. Otherwise we'll have a draw. So let's try to get some units across. And we'll try to go retake that town. Alright, Studebakers are being blown up. Enemy transports are having bad times. The enemy still hasn't even taken out my bunkers. So let's put a real nail-biter down and see if we can retake some of our positions. Soviet troops are running. You can see their veterancy here too, by the way. They have 2 gold stars under them, so they're better than regular troops here that are falling back. These are the partisan groups, and these are as well, but they might be near a command unit or might have some veterancy to them somehow. Alright, we can put our troops inside of buildings, give them a little bit of cover. And I wonder if I can get some anti-air up. Yeah, it looks like we do have 2 20mm flaks. I remember those being a pest last time against me, so we'll see how it works. And we'll get some machine guns up here. I think the Soviets are firing back with mortars, so the Germans are going to have to move. Eugen really picked some good music for this one. You can see the mortars firing all around. Mortars also have the ability to fire smoke rounds, which helps to conceal your units or to block line of sight from enemy units, so they'll have a little bit more difficulty in spotting you if you're moving around. Wow. Soviets are doing what they do best. I need a mortar unit, rather a recon unit, to support the mortar unit up here. And these units are making their way down. So I made the mistake of clicking launch battle at the start there without having troops here. Yet we're still scoring kill after kill from this 50mm bunker. Essentially we've lost the village, but look at the absolute incredible destruction. An explosion on the bridge. The truss bridge just having a bad day. Look at all those units we destroyed. I would have made an absolute fortress out of that place. The AI is lucky. We're bringing up some more units to help defend the line. I'm going to try to sneak past these guys. Enemy recon is up. In multiple places, I think. I saw another aircraft around here somewhere, but just beautiful how easily you can zoom in on structures too. Full detailed buildings, supply yards, even gates and fences and everything, so it's a really detailed world that you're fighting in. It's not just a generic flat battlefield. It's an actual critical battle over some severely important territory. Talk about ooh, nice. Wait a minute. We're about to see troops running into a machine gun. Let's get mortars on top of those guys. We need to get our infantry spread out. Great thing is, too, you can also put the infantry in trenches at the start of a battle. So it really can turn the tide of battle, too, by just parking them inside the trench. Okay. So we're moving our troops south. Good. Alright, enemy aircraft are up. We're now shooting down those recon planes. And they're spotting our mortars now. Excellent work from the Soviets. Essentially, we're fighting a losing battle historically. The Germans, of course, losing the Second World War, so it's not going to be an easy fight. But it is kind of cool to be able to have some alternatives take place. And it looks like there's another plane up. When we get to Phase B, we're probably going to see more enemy troops, although we will receive more reinforcements. Wow, those enemy mortars are super accurate. Yeah, don't make the mistake I did in clicking launch battle, unless you've set up all your defenses ahead of time. I've been playing so many buildings games lately that I had thought of that as the complete trench button. I think you just need to left click once you're complete. We're now into phase B now, so we finally get some aircraft at our disposal. So not only can we shoot down enemy aircraft a little easier, but we can also bomb them into submission. We got 2 Ju-87 D3s armed with one 250 kilogram HE bomb. So that's good. Wow, we actually captured an enemy supply truck. Soviets are losing their supplies. There's nothing over here. The Soviets essentially have left this area abandoned. Alright, we're going to try to counterattack now and hold the train station. Alright, well, Operation Oops, I Done Goofed is going pretty well. 18 troops there. It's another thing as well to keep in mind is that doesn't just mean that there's 18 troops there, that means there's multiple squads. If you zoom in on it, you can see that they split into 2 groups. So anything over 10 is a little suspicious to having a multitude of enemies. But alright, look at this. Now we've got the ability to start bombing enemy troops. Recon squads have taken some hits. So let's get up there on the line. Thought these guys were inside buildings, but I guess not. And we're going to... Oh, you fools! Don't go on the road. Come down here. They're going to chase us now, the Soviets. Somehow I was able to capture a enemy supply truck. So we're going to go recapture that village now. See what we can do there. And here comes the Ju-87 with a 250 kilogram bomb. Oh, pinning that unit down. Fantastic. Soviets are now fleeing. And our line is stabilizing slightly. Gotta get some supply in here too. So the Tiger, which was thought to be like a super invincible unit, is no longer as powerful as it once was. Now that you're facing off against IS-2s and heavier T-34-85s, many different units to be concerned with. Okay, Ju-87 going to bomb another unit. Damn, nice job. Alright, we should try to make sure the enemy doesn't sneak around us. These disheartened units need a lot more commanders. So I certainly am lacking on bringing them both supply and command. There we go, we'll get on the front line there and see if we can bring up some Tigers shortly. Many different transports in this game too. When you set up your decks, you can use half-tracks. That makes your units a way more powerful force in both attack and defense, as the enemy will have to break through more. Oh wow, we just destroyed a Sherman over here as well. Damn, that 50mm. Okay, well, I guess I'm still holding the village, quote-unquote. I mean, I guess I'm cutting off a huge wave of reinforcements. Okay. Well, I guess there's a little light at the end of my very narrow tunnel. Oh, don't have enough points for the Tiger Command. I was looking for this one. There we go. We're going to add another tank to the train station. The only way the Soviets are going to get close, I think, is if they flank down here. That's why I got a recon force there. And it looks like an enemy aircraft. Is that... Wow, it was shot down right into the swamp. That is epic. Looking real cool. Alright, also in this phase we get additional points. So 150, we only get stronger as time goes on. So the longer that the Soviets take to try to take our positions, the worse it's going to be for them. Stukas are almost ready again. We can also attack them with autocannons, 20mm and such. Let's go ahead and get that recon out of here so they stop dropping bombs on us. We have a 20mm nearby, but this will suffice a little bit better. Let's get these units resupplied too. Another aircraft down. Excellent work. They got some AT teams close to us. We don't want them anywhere near us. God, that 50mm is just blocking tanks for days. If we come in over here, we might be able to just walk right back into the village. Surprise, I'm back. Well, let's continue to put our infantry on the line. It is extremely fun to play this against a friend, too, by the way. If you're using Discord or some sort of VoIP, and you're both setting up defenses or attacks, and you kind of switch off in both who's defending and attacking, you really find some interesting strategies, and you just find out the real depth of this game, as there's way more in the defense than ever before. Really makes it interesting. It's like playing a chess move, you know. Every time you attack, you're playing out a chess move. Now we're going to get some tanks on this hill now, too. See if we can fire down on those units. Stuka bombers are ready. So let's continue to harass the enemy infantry out in the open. Okay, the line has solidified. End operation... I don't even know what to call this. Arnold Palmer. Alright, our 50mm is pinned down. Oh, there's the enemy. They're firing their mortars. Okay, get them, boys. We're back. The boys are back in town. Let's see if we can call it a Ju-87 on that position. Soviets are attacking our MG bunker there. Unfortunately, no paradrop units. You won't be able to, in-game paradrop behind enemy lines. And I think in the game as well, I don't think there's, during the main campaign, an ability to do that. I don't think that's a possibility. Alright, well, I'm starting to become more powerful now that we got Tiger tanks on the field. More Tiger tanks on the field. Damn, a 16 unit recon is not good. That is a very powerful unit. We gotta bring the aerial pain. Damn, the 50mm finally destroyed. Well, we may as well surrender now, boys. And I mean like all of Germany, not just... That thing was doing so well. Alright, I'm gonna load some more homeboys into the railroad there. I guess that's where we're gonna hang out and make some pizza rolls. Here comes the Ju-87 D3. Just dropping one big old bomb. Oh, bring the pain, baby. Bring it. Bring that pain. Woo! Enemy troops pinned down. They're falling back. Swipe them. Push them to the side. Okay, let's have the guard units take a little shot from our aircraft here. Soviets really not having any sort of anti-air coverage. I don't see any anyway. Let's bring over a German commander and a few more disheartened units. We're going to give them the will to fight. Okay, some more machine guns. Alright, we're holding pretty well at the train station now. Gotta get some more command units inside the village. Oh, this is awesome. I like defending on this one. This is good. There's a lot of great content creators out there as well who've been making videos about Eugen games for a long time. So if you're ever afraid of the learning curve, which can definitely be probably your biggest enemy, don't be afraid too much, as there's going to be a lot of people making different decks and units, especially in multiplayer. And this is definitely not a game you're going to be playing on the weekend and just, you know, give it a one and done. It is going to be a game that I think you'll be playing every day and night. At least I hope. Unfortunately, a supply truck there disappearing. I don't know where that one went. We'll have to capture this supply truck, though. The Studebaker with supply on it. Yes, of course, the Germans can use captured Soviet equipment. It just makes the game a little bit... It's more of a game mechanic to capture enemy supplies, both to deny the enemy supplies and also to resupply your units, so that way they can keep in the fight. Alright, we've got some enemy units now. Sherman's nearby. Brushing our units aside. Excellent. Enemy tanks are getting too close to us and we're able to knock them out. Enemy tanks don't know that we have anti-tank grenades. 149 HHL-3s. See if we can move house to house. Enemy tanks surrendered. Where's those reinforcements? Alright, we're going to try to bulk up on our forces and counterattack over this direction. Okay, I need to find where that squad went. It's unlikely that I'm going to be able to take that position. Ooh, huge boost to our points. Let's try to head deep with Tigers. It's going to take some extra time. But I certainly don't want things to end in a draw. This has definitely been more than a turkey shoot, though. Okay, we've lost line of sight on those units. Oh, there we are. Enemy mortar positions. We'll attack those instead. Should also be leading with a recon unit, but we don't really have too much time for that. We got about 14 minutes and we kind of got to go on an attack now. So we're going to have our trucks drive off-road to that village there. Alright, the Tigers are firing from the elevation. Ooh, and they hit our anti-aircraft gun. Lucky them. I think we're out of supply inside of town as well. Unless that supply truck was exploded. Okay, let's bring up more supply here. Very important to go back and watch your units time after time, too. You want to keep an eye on everything. And I think our greatest command unit is this Tiger here, which gives us a bonus for all of our commander units. Oh, looks like our Stuka went all the way over there. So I'd like you to return to target and bomb him. Let's see what we can do. Okay, we're on our way then with Tigers. Can hit some of the supplies there too. Well, it's going to be a rather big stalemate. IL-2Ms, which I believe are loaded with rockets. They are 82mm HE rockets. And I think we might have access to some planes to stop that. So let's shoot those down. And more Ju-87s. This one possibly armed with more bombs. Wow, the Soviets brought up their commander unit. They're about to lose the IL-2. Goodbye. That's gonna die. That's not making it out. Alright, the D3 is gonna go for the combat there. Oh, darn it, they attacked my munitions again. They certainly don't want me having that. Jeez, I can't believe it. How many times have I called in an attack on that mortar? Oh, it's the motorcycle variant, so the Soviets are able to move that thing rather quickly. We can also cross the river on foot, I believe. We can cross narrow gaps and things like that, so it makes it a little easier to get through. Alright. Planes on the retreat. Ooh. Oh, actually, that's fresh meat for the Tigers. smart idea to bring these units alone out on a convoy. They're prime targets for bazookas, but we're talking about the AI here, so they already know they already know where I'm moving anyway. It looks like the enemy's going to send over some tanks. Let's pump in some more Tigers. It's going to be hard for them to penetrate that line. Alright, with a little bit more time, I think we might be able to retake the village. Otherwise, it's just going to be running out the clock here. Oh, there you go. Those units there are armed with RPG 43s, so they do have anti-tank capability. So they might cause some damage. There we go. Let's see how tanks versus infantry functions. Oh, good. So falling back is a mechanic where obviously they'll fall back and try to regroup because of fear. The unit there being destroyed too. So an example that infantry is quite powerful at close range, as well as the crew panicking, basically being a function of something that can happen at random. Well, while being attacked, of course. But there's other things that can happen, such as incendiary, which will cause damage inside the tank. And I think also crew killed, which means it needs to be recrewed by a supply vehicle. Other things can happen. But of course we're in a rush to try to retake that village. Probably not going to happen with 2 minutes remaining. Got an enemy Sherman up there. See if we can take that down. 210 millimeter, I think. Rockets. And the troops transport being destroyed, and they're bailing out now to... Oh, nice. Good hits. I don't think it destroyed it, but it certainly must have stunned it. We do have a anti-tank capability of some sort, according to the symbol. And they are pushing into the train station. Alright, time to leave. The Soviets got an air superiority fighter up. Oh, they're going to zip us. Yak 1B. Landing gear damage, and there goes the plane. Cool. Well, I'm pretty confident if I had correctly built all my defenses there without clicking that launch battle button in advance, we'd be holding that position with no problem. Look at the number of tanks we've got. I've just got Tiger tanks for days. So essentially it's easy to hold the train station. It's more important to hold the town itself. 53 seconds remain. We might be able to push in there. There we go. Let's get those Tigers back in gear. We should have those recon units around here somewhere too. There they are. So we'll keep an eye out here and see what else we can do. Small transports being destroyed by troop transporters, I think. Or by the aircraft. On the troop transporters. Oh, it looks like they picked up their defenses with some tanks around. So let's see if we can take down their fighters. We'll be out of time here. So we end in a draw. And I was able to actually launch a counterattack and almost take that village, so not too bad. So you gain XP and get to different levels and things like that, and there's different outcomes based off of how many objectives you have. So since I had half of them, by abandoning or losing the village at the start, you get a different outcome. So I think if there's like 4 objectives and you have 3, you know, then you get kind of like you get a major victory rather than a total victory. So there's many different ways to play. That was cool. I like that scenario. I want to do that one again correctly. I'll make sure I do that on my own. So make sure you don't click that launch battle button. Alright, Stemming the Tide. A lot of different historical battles here too, which explains how and why they've created the maps. So that's really neat. I really like that. There's an actual reason why some of these maps exist. If we take a look at the Army General, again, these weird symbols here, I don't even know what that is. Looks like a bullseye, kind of like a target. Those display how difficult they are. So 1, 2. So the last 2 objectives or last 2 campaigns a little bit more simplistic with the whole explanation as to who's fighting who, when, why, where. More details about the campaign. And this is more like the grand strategy map that you want. And yes, the makers of this also made Ruse. So that is right. So if you enjoyed Ruse, if you like Wargame Red Dragon, Air-Land Battle, European Escalation, or the original Steel Division, this is definitely the game for you with these just wonderful, just big strategy. It's very good too because the battle, when you're in a actual battle, is large scale. And so it makes sense to have an even larger scale. Like, I guess you could call it a campaign going on. I guess being an army general. I don't know what you would call it, but let's go ahead and take a look at one of the campaigns then, just to show it off a little bit and see how everything functions. We'll play like a turn and see how it goes. So you can play as either the Germans, of course, or the Soviets. And then you can adjust the AI. I suppose we've already played as the Germans, so let's play as the Soviets and watch the cutscene and get into a little bit of Steel Division 2's Army General mode.
On June 24th, General Rokossovsky's 1st Belarusian Front launches a two-pronged attack against the German 9th Army. The next day, both Soviet attacks have achieved a breakthrough and are inserting armored units to exploit them. By June 27th, half a dozen German divisions are about to be trapped in Fortress Bobruisk by Hitler's order to defend the city to the last man. Yet, the next morning, he reluctantly authorizes most forces but the garrison to break out and reach friendly lines near Marina Gorka, where the 12th Panzer Division is starting to arrive to help the Bobruisker from outside the ring. By then, the two Soviet prongs are about to meet behind Bobruisk. Every hour counts, both for the besieged to break out and the besieger to tighten the trap.
The 1st Belarusian Front's offensive against the southern flank of the Army Group Center has broken through the German lines on both sides of Bobruisk. Remnants from the 35th Corps and 41st Panzer Corps are surrounded within the city. When Hitler finally authorized the garrison to attempt to break out and return to friendly lines, the front line had moved 40 kilometers, held only by a weak screen of security units. However, the Germans have dispatched the 12th Panzer Division piecemeal to Marina Gorka to meet the Bobruskers halfway. The Soviets' 9th Tank Corps and 1st Guards Tank Corps are doing their best to reinforce their thin cordon of troops who intend to keep the Germans encircled. Your objective is to capture and hold Marina Gorka in order to completely seal the pocket and deny the fascists any possibility to save the Bobruisk's garrison. Beware of the latter. Even mauled, 20th Panzer still has claws and might attempt a breakout in your rear.
So it's basically telling us all of our objectives. These would be different, of course, if we were playing as the Germans. So the intro would be the same, but the Germans' objectives obviously are different in order to hold territory and reinforce weakened units, as where the Soviets are supposed to go in for a kill shot on many of these important territories.
The Soviet troops. Primary objective: capture Marina Gorka on July 4th at the latest.
Alright, so here we go. This is the grand strategy that I wanted to see. Obviously, it's not like all of... We're not talking about all the Ukraine. We're talking about just a small little territory. But large cities. It's a very small chunk, but it makes it a little bit more simplistic. So we can see all of our units here in red, so we can move in and start cutting off cities such as Bobruisk. And what was... Let's see if our... where's our objectives then? So operation status, so units that you... Oh, you get a bonus for holding territories and such. Okay. And then order of battle. And what is this here? Casualty list. Okay, makes sense. Well, mine's probably going to be quite long. Let's go ahead and get some units then to move into position. So you can actually play this like you would any sort of hexagonal strategy game. So we may as well move towards Bobruisk as we were told. So we'll get some of our units to move in there. And you can move them independently or all together. But we may as well tighten the noose around the Germans there. So we'll get recon close by. Don't know if there's a bonus for going into the forests. Oh, interception. Oh, interesting. So your units can actually become damaged if they are spotted by another unit. I suppose in this case the only one to spot us first would be another recon. So we can move some of our units in for the kill. And begin the attack. Let's see if we can actually launch an attack here. Might take a... Obviously, if we're playing this realistically, meaning, you know, we're trying to do this like a chess move, we want to be more considerate about the situation around us and try to attack differently. But I want to see if we can kick off a battle here. Wonder if we can get our troops to engage this tank group here. That seems to be one of the most important units to attack there. They seem to be out of range, but with these troops we've got... Actually, let's bring in an aircraft if we can. Let's see, we've got... How do I see more information about these planes? Ah, there we are. Oh, okay, so we have the Bostons. 500 kilogram HE bombs. Wow. Oh. Wow, that's impressive. Are these all the same? Oh, they all have different different planes. 20 millimeters, those would be powerful. And another fuel, or rather heavy bomb. TU-2S, that's a big boy. And I think this is fully loaded with those. Oh yeah, lots of different bombers. Well, with tanks, it's good to bomb them, but they're not as stationary as infantry. So let's go with the 20 millimeter aircraft. I think that was our best bet there. Unless... Okay, yeah, that's going to be our better move. Let's see if we can actually move them into position to attack. So I don't know how aircraft works to support superiority. I think I have to move them into a conflict if we start. So let's see if we can fight these Germans. I've never given this mode a try before, so we'll see how well it is. Oh, we can dig in. Okay, so I don't think we can move any closer. We just have insufficient move power. Alright, well, in purposes of trying to attack Bobruisk, let's just go ahead and go to the next turn. We'll ignore everything else, just for this battle here. 9th Army gets their move now. I can already feel the elements of Ruse here with all the symbols and such on the screen. So this is definitely like with Ruse where you would move all the units around. Except that was mostly in the same battle at the same time. Oh, here we go. Now we can finally have a fight. So let's see. Does it tell us our odds of winning? So it looks like... Oh, actually, we're being engaged by quite a few units. Looks like we're standing alone. So armored combat value. Auto-resolve. Tactical battle is what we're looking for an actual real fight. 152. I want to see if I can bring in an aircraft. Looks like the aircraft will be on standby. Are they going to assist? All right. Well, let's do a tactical battle and see what happens. I just want to see some fight. Drag and drop companies if necessary. And these are all locked in. Oh, I see. So if you don't want certain units to participate in the battle, you can do that. That's neat. So that way, if there's units that are close, but you don't want them to come as reinforcement, you can keep them behind, so that way they don't lose their movement power or whatever. Oh, this is much different. Oh, yes. So this is like the conquest battle rather than the total destruction. So essentially, this is about taking more territory than they do. We got nothing here. We've got some Su-76s and some light units. That's it. Oh, that's gonna be GG. All right, well, let's not get into this one because that's just gonna be a bad battle. But as I know more about what's going on, of course, this is just kind of a glimpse of the overall campaign. So that's what you can expect from the other 3, I believe, scenarios. They're all different, and you can play as different factions too. So that's kind of neat. Let's go ahead and just exit back to the main menu there. Not too bad. Very good. Of course, if you've seen Steel Division videos coming out, you've seen all the battles over and over again, but I find this to be a little more juicy with the actual meat of the campaign. So 4 campaigns in total. That was just a look at one of them as the Soviets, so you get to play as the Germans too. So that's almost 8. Yeah, that's 8 full campaigns from both sides, if you'd like. All right, let's go ahead and try a... let's do another historical battle. I really like those. Those historical battles are really fun. I think we already did Terminus Krupki, and maybe we'll try one with some other allies on our side. Let's do a 3v3. Moscow-Minsk Highway, northeast of Orshka, June 23rd, 1944. Immediately after striking Vitebsk, the Soviets launched a second all-out offensive along the strategic Moscow-Minsk Highway, further south of Orsha. The German strongpoint, defended by one of the Wehrmacht's best infantry divisions, the 78th Sturm, had thwarted all previous attacks in early 1944, but this time the Soviets gathered massive amounts of air, artillery, and engineer units to support the elite assault elements of the 26th and 84th Guards Division leading the attack. Okay, well, I think we'll play as the Soviets this time, since we didn't get to play as them just yet. And I don't know what else units we want to play as. Guards Rifle Division. Oh yeah, that's right. We can see their decks. Cool. Let's do some with a lot of T-34s. KV-8s here, those are cool. Those can fire. They can actually shoot fire. So they're very good at clearing out buildings. Oh, IS-2s. Nice. Okay, that's a big heavy division. And let's see. Who gives a hoot about me playing AI? Well, your mom thought I was pretty good last night when I was playing multiplayer with her, dude. She thought I was a real winner. She wasn't able to take back her strategic point. Alright, let's see. KV-85s, KV-1Ss. These are nice. Alright. Well, there you go. That's one side of the community, too. The super aggro macho side with the vein power. Also great learning tool as well. I learned a lot of what I know, very basic knowledge from the start, off of games like Blitzkrieg, which taught me all about units such as the KV-1S or the Sherman, or about how many crew members was in it. So it's a great experience of leadership in these types of scenarios. So let's see, we got T-34-76s. We'll get some, oh, I guess we're more heavy tanks this time, or more tank focused. So, in fact, what are our best tanks again? Yeah, IS-1 is great. T-34E, also very good. And the NKVD, which actually should have some sort of a leadership capability to it. I actually haven't seen... There was an update, and they do something specific, but I can't quite remember. They do have a symbol next to them, and they're military police, so they might... Let's actually try them out and see how they work. And we'll roll up the line. And I think we've got our recon tank up there. So let's take a look at all these units rolling. Looks very nice. Now, speaking of multiplayer too, there's also... Uh-oh, that's trouble. Speaking of multiplayer, there's also a few options for... Damn, the AI put that in a perfect position. I thought you guys were dumb. Oh, look at this! Ooh! They built a literal fortress. Alright, go get it, AI. Oh, they do get some sort of influence around them. Look at that. Very nice. Alright, well, I'm going to hide my tanks and come in a little closer. We can overwhelm those 88 guns from a close range. Pac-40's in there too, so I'm going to hide my tanks instead of just steamrolling in. So if you want to be very tactical, you can take a look at each and every single unit that the enemy gets before the start of the battle to see what you'll be up against. So that'll help you in planning some of your tactics. But these historical battles, you have to go with what's set up, so you don't get to choose. But when you do get to multiplayer, if you want to make your own decks, that is the best way to do that is by essentially just creating decks and then seeing how they work or how they don't work, or just making kind of like experimental decks of just crazy stuff to see what happens, and learning what units are better than others for certain situations. Yes, the game looks very good. The trees and everything are nicely detailed. There's some really just incredible community screenshots coming out from Steel Division 2. There's a lot of, detail to all the buildings and towns and bridges and roads, which is great because, you do want to zoom in on occasion for those sexy kills. Looks like our ally over here is getting popped pretty good. I think that's a KV... Is that an 8? Yeah, KV-8. Just exploding, loaded with fire. I don't think the game has any sort of collateral damage, meaning that if two tanks are next to each other and one explodes, or if the tank is next to infantry, I don't think it causes damage to the infantry nearby. So that's at least a good thing, just in case. And of course we have more air recon. We got to use that in our next phase. So I guess we'll build up a force up here. Essentially the Soviets are laying their eggs on this hill for the winter, and as soon as the communist eggs hatch, they'll be moving into town then to take it over. So this is really cool. This is what I had failed to show off earlier due to my misclick, but you can build all these just long, really laid out barbed wire lines, and also you can do the same with trenches. So if the AI wanted to, they could have also put trenches near the crossroads, or maybe there are trenches in there somewhere. Oh yeah, they're there, further back. And so infantry can be placed here. Great area to ambush, and wonderful for cover, too. So it's a really good way to keep your numbers up, even though you're probably going to be whooped at some point. We'll see how the AI does here, too. I guess I'm completely dependent on how well the AI does. I can only capture so many objectives. We'll probably go to the town center and then maybe swing towards the farm, though it seems that the 84th is not having too much trouble. Looks like the Germans surrendered somewhere. So we'll keep pumping tanks up into the hill. Some Flak 36s are out there. Probably one of my favorite units, although I will say that it doesn't have enough AP rounds. I wish it had many more. It's really just the ultimate anti-tank weapon, though it is clearly an anti-aircraft gun, but it can work both ways, and look at the amount of units it's already destroyed. Maybe it doesn't need any more ammo. Yeah, maybe that's enough. It's already destroyed a lot of the AI power. So I'm building up here to have all my forces just break out, try to overwhelm those guns, and then we can take the city and keep on rolling towards something, perhaps the farm. And look at this. Wow, you can actually see... Wow, that's amazing. As if you were like in a recon plane. You can clearly see all the barbed wire and trenches. That is really cool. I didn't know you could see them from so far away. Very clearly. Alright. Hey there, Dota. Oink oink. How are you doing? Welcome aboard. I'm going to keep building up with these tanks. This seems to be our... Actually, it'd probably be better for me to bring in the tanks here. There's much better coverage. We do have to support our comrades shortly. So we will move up with an IS-1 now and see if we can start bringing some pain. KV-85s are a very fun unit that I played with quite a bit in the beta phases. And it's essentially, just think of it as a KV-1 and a T-34-85 put together. And you got yourself your KV-85. Just a step down from the IS-1 in terms of armor and of maybe firepower too. 85mm on the IS-1. Oh, they both have the same gun. Okay. So the IS-1 just has more armor. Alright, let's get that recon up there. That's an anti-aircraft gun there. Parked in the backyard there. Whoa, and that's gone. Oh, never mind. Wow, they survived that hit? Damn lucky. Oh, that's a Lee gun. Never mind, I thought that was an anti-aircraft gun. The LG-18. Alright, so transmission is damaged. We'll have to get some repairs up in the next phase. Artillery coming in too. Let's see if we can cause some pain to that AA gun. Well, now that we got their attention, hopefully our comrades swing through on the left side. This is really exciting to me. I like taking these objectives. I like when there's set out goals. Multiplayer is fun, and it's always good to compete. Myself, personally, I just like when there's objectives that pop up, and there's reasons to take them. There's a reason to take the town center. There's a reason to secure the highway. There's a reason to take the train station. It's for the next phase of battle, and the phase after that, and so on and so forth. Wow, unfortunately we lost our IS-1 too. I was hoping that that would be the end-all be-all to the German defenses. But the T-34-76 is making his way through. Not for long, though. Ooh, oh, the lead gun almost getting him. Yeah, this is going to be a tough nut to crack with all those defenses. Oh, there's a 75mm bunker on the right side. The AI has gotten good with laying out stuff. It used to be kind of random, so that's good. AI grew a brain. Let's bring up a couple more tanks. Hold on, boy. I'm going to need the help of my allies in order to break through. On the left side, it doesn't look... Have they even encountered any Germans? Oh, they have. Oh, that is a... Oh, I thought that was a Luke's for a second, but that is a T-34... I mean, a KV-1, I believe. Wow. The game works off of a front line system, too, so that way, the more of the territory that you control... you can kind of see where the enemy is at. So, for example, there must be a unit here. If we even couldn't see that unit, we'd know by communicating with other units that they possessed that territory. So it helps to lay out a more clear representation of where the enemy might be. And, of course, you can spot them further with recon. So it gives you a general area, hey, there's somebody here, but then recon's got to get close to find where they are, unless they're already in combat. We need to start punching through some of these 20mm and lead guns. They've really locked this town down. And when we get to Phase B, we'll get some more tanks, too. Why the frontline mechanic? It ruins it for you? Well, that's the mechanic that they've gone with in this one. And it doesn't really matter too much. It just shows you exactly where the enemy is. And I think that's just to prevent newer players or players in general from just being overrun. If there was a road here and everybody ran all their forces down and got behind you, that would be the end of the game because you wouldn't have seen it coming. And I guess it's nice because you don't have to dump all your points into recon. Essentially, again, this blue line shows me that there's enemies here, and if I want to spot them, I either need to get closer with infantry to go into the forest and flush out the Germans, or get a recon unit up, which we can get in just a few minutes from aircraft. It was something to get used to in Steel Division, and I certainly didn't like it at first, but after playing a few battles to my advantage, and then a few to my disadvantage, I started to respect it a little bit more. It's not something to ignore. Alright, if this ally here can get rid of all the AA guns, we'll be alright. Let's keep pumping tanks into the battle and see what we got. Unfortunately, we lost our recon tank. Nope, I didn't call up another one yet. Wow. One of the best things about the game is just the wonderful plumes of smoke that you can see from the distance. Just so cool to be able to see where the battle's actually being fought. And that's another thing, too, is that, I mean, just by looking at the wrecks on the map, you can see where the fight is being fought. You can see a lot of burning units up here, so obviously it's a tough time. So in addition to the front line system, you can also see just by smoke. Obviously, where there's smoke, there's fire, and we're probably taking fire from those locations. So up here, for example, there could be an AT gun. I think it's just mostly infantry. Looks like the Germans put some more barbed wire there. I'm not quite sure if tanks can roll through barbed wire and destroy it, or if it's just they can move through it and infantry can't. Well, finally, we got some recon planes now. So let's take a little peek at what the Germans got. Aside from that Pak-40, if our comrade clears it on the right side, we're good. Let's support this KV-8 and let's take this village. Yes, this game is very different from Wargame Red Dragon. We're talking about World War II versus modern warfare as well. So you might not have helicopters and you might not have jets, but what you do have is some very heavily armored units that can actually slug it out with other units. In the midst of a battle, a battle can last a matter of minutes. As we're in Red Dragon, it might last a matter of seconds. So everything's a little bit different. So I guess knowing is half the battle sometimes, especially since it takes forever to move your units around. Is there a mode to turn off the frontline mechanic? I don't know. There might be a feature for that in the future. There might just be a simple switch for it. But it seems to be quite important. Not to mention there are game modes that are literally called frontline, so you need to be able to see where the enemy is and what objectives to capture. All right, we're starting to crack in on this town now. Soviet tanks are breaking through a little bit. Let's get some more tanks up here. Come on, boys, don't be shy. Grab some territory. Now let's continue to put some pain down on that 88. Some of the times you can't advance until Phase B or C, but Phase A is typically grab all the territory you can, and Phase B and C is to hold on for dear life. At least that's what some of my experiences is. If you gain some territory, you better hold on to it. Alright, all the units are starting to flee from the city. That's good for us. KV-85 there, destroyed by another P.A.Q. That is an incredible unit. That is awesome in this game, that you can build bunkers and things. So this bunker is actually taking fire from our tanks, but the units there are pinned down so we can fire at it without too much consequence. We got tons of points now. Let's start attacking. Something a little bit more than tanks. And I think I might have a commander too. Yes, combat unit. Nah, this is just epic. Now this game even goes up to 10v10s, so imagine 10 players rather than just 3. This is 3, and there's advances being made on all fronts, but imagine a 10v10 where you're trying to, on one side you're trying to hold on for dear life, and on the other side, you know, friendlies have just like pushed through and they're starting to flank. And you can work together, you know, to say to your friend, hey, they're really wrecking me with artillery, can you take care of that? Oh, no problem. And then suddenly you finally get the chance to advance and your ally has to pull back. Alright, friendly infantry are coming down. Man, that P.A.Q. is still wrecking us. We almost got the village, though. I'm the only one who's almost got his objectives. Oh, and look at this guy pushing deep with a IS-2. It's a very good map, too. There's very open territory for tanks all along that way. Need some aircraft. Unfortunately, I don't have anything except for recon. But we could get some... Ooh, look at that. Some heavy artillery up. Go ahead and call up some of those then. Hopefully we don't get popped by that. And let's try some... Artilleryist units are good too, but I'm going to try to hit them with mortars. And let's get our boys out of the vehicles here. We'll get our commander. We've taken the village here as a staging area. Oh, look at that. We've actually broken through some of the barbed wire. I'm not sure if that's from it being exploded or what. Wow, they're just decimating us with that 75mm. Come on, friendlies, get in there. I don't think me indicating to them would make any sort of difference. I don't know if the AI is smart enough to move their troops over there, but I'm going to try to move into town now, where there's tons of machine guns. Great. Let's try this side. There's no real AA here. Or AT. Oh, never mind. Maybe I spoke too soon. That is a Stug 3. Yep. Stug 3G. So that's a pretty capable tank destroyer. Artillery is starting to arrive. Let's get some supplies up here. We're kind of like a coiled spring now. We're all wound up on top of this hill, trying to unwind. That bunker's still got to be there. Let's get some recon back up again. I was a little nervous about the enemy aircraft, but I think they're gone. Just need our troops to push out. Let's fire with everything we got. Get those mortars firing. Look at that. Take that damn church down. That's a heavy position. That's got to go. Flamethrowers in our way. Hoorah, boys, push through. Now, the barbed wire doesn't block our troops. They only slow us down. So all the defenses are not indestructible. It doesn't mean that we can't get through. It's just going to, as all defenses, they're penetrable. They just take a little bit of time. Wow, did we just get our Studebaker's supply immediately artilleried? Wow. They must have some sort of recon unit there to spot that. The AI in this game loves blowing up your supply trucks. It's one of the first units to go. Still trying to take out that P.A.Q. I think we just got it. There you go. Well, by the line bending, I'm able to determine that troops there are confirming that we've gained some territory, so the frontline mechanic, I guess, in play there. Units are falling back. Alright, my only objective now, we got 3 minutes remaining for Phase B. We're about to swarm them. We've got no objectives yet. Come on, boys. To be fair, though, I've seen this go many different ways. If you have normal AI on your side versus normal AI, sometimes the line will just completely collapse on your side, and other times the AI is super smart. So it's all kind of a dice roll. But this is what to expect in multiplayer, too. You might be pushing your line, but sometimes you gotta wait on your allies and communicate. Communication is key. Oh, looks like we're getting attacked, too, by mortars. So y'all, good area here to demonstrate counter fire like that. So with us firing, they might be able to, yep, there you go, determine where we're firing from. So it's good to spread out like that, just as an example. So keep that in mind, that you can shoot and they can shoot back. It's a new feature, I think. Alright, let's get a bunch of T-34s ready for a breakthrough. Let's try a big tank army and see what happens. Sometimes you just gotta kind of just spam them and swarm like the Soviets did. Oh, there we go. Troops are starting to make their way into town. There we go. Machine gun squad eliminated, and I now hold the village. Hell yeah. Good. Alright. So some of the times in this game it can be way easier to attack than it is to defend. Attacking is mostly how long are they going to delay me until I break through. But I think this is going to be a hopeless fight. I don't see our allies getting anywhere close to where they're supposed to. Well, let's keep pumping in some infantry and see what happens. We've still got another phase, though. I don't want to speak too soon. Let's get another wave of Soviet troops ready to go. And these troops actually have Panzer Faust with them, so that could be helpful. And let's continue to fire on them. Oh, looks like the Germans are moving. Oh wow, they're moving all around. Where are they going? I'll fire there. I don't know. They're continuously moving. A lot of our vehicles are damaged. The Germans might still have that pack gun after all. Now they must. I think I just saw a round flying from here. But it also could have been from the Stuke 3. Yep, so it looks like the 50mm's gone. Flying right over the top of it, so it must be gone. Alright, let's start the tank attack. Let's see how that looks. One of the best things about the beta, and one of the best things you can do in the initial starting days of playing Steel Division 2, is that you can do a lot of experimentation on what units you want to play with, what works, what doesn't. Most players, of course, just can't resist spamming tons of tanks and troops. It's a lot of fun to just see a horde rolling across the field like that. And experimentation is good. Otherwise, everything's just going to be spreadsheeted out, and you know, everyone's looking for the highest efficiency. But the most fun you can have is play with units that you normally don't, and try to win with a lesser hand. That's the true victory. Alright, into the final phase. Just got a few more aircraft for recon, so let's bring them up. This deck is definitely tank heavy. Wow, the Germans were able to counterattack the village. Excellent. Good for them. I thought we were well stuck in there, but they've got a lot of forces to defend with. And our allies are getting a little closer on that right side. Hopefully they break through. Some of the times, too, it's a good idea to double down with other attacks. For example, if somebody's got a lot of tanks here and you've got a lot of infantry, go join them for combined forces, and you'll have a much more successful breakthrough and overwhelm the enemy with the sheer numbers that you're about to have, too. 75mm over there. Ooh, that's nightmare. That's nightmare fuel. Oh, and we're out of range a little bit. Let's get some better artillery, then. Let's see what we can do with the 280mm. Let's spam those out a little bit and see how they work. I didn't quite experiment with them in the beta, so now's a good time to see how they roll. We also need our command tanks up here. Get up there, boys. Alright, another PaK 75mm, extremely dangerous. That's why the Germans only get 1 or 2 of them per deck, depending on which nation they're playing as or what division. The Hungarians are in the game too, and same with the British and the Americans and such, for just a little added touch if you have a Steel Division. I forget exactly what it is, but you can check down below in the store page on how to play with them as well. So there is a way to play with more units too, so that makes it a lot more interesting. Ooh, this is the artillery. Well, these are some slow boys. Ooh, that's going to take all day to get here. Can you boys fire now? Oh, wow. What happens if we drop some artillery on these guys? Okay. Let's see if we can fire some artillery at these guys. Hopefully our friendlies don't get close. Now that we've got recon nearby, we should be able to have better accurate shots. Oh, finally. The PaK was finally destroyed. Actually, wait a minute. I'm going to bulldoze all the way to through the highway, try to take 2 objectives. Meanwhile, our allies might be able to break through on the flanks. Oh, tactical nuclear rounds have dropped. Of course, those 180mm, 280mm Soviet tractor artillery. Almost killed my own boys with that one. That's all right. It'll motivate them. That's what the NKVD is there for. Uh-oh. The ultimate nemesis at the end of the line is a Tiger. That unit has taken some hits, and they're bouncing. So we got some KV-1s and T-34s against a Tiger. We'll see if he can actually penetrate that. That is epic, dude. Tiger, super powerful unit. Can block pretty much anything the Soviets have, except for IS-1s and 2s and, well, anything 85mm. It's a good roadblock. And it gets the thing the Germans need most, which is time. Alright. Soviet troops have penetrated the village. This game really needs some... there's a modding ability, too, so I hope that content creators and everybody else can make their own missions. That'd make things a lot more interesting. It would be really cool to see objectives such as, you know, hold the bridge for as long as you can, endless waves of units, and just see how long you can hold out and manage your forces. That's a really good way to do things. Get another combat unit up here. Hey, don't let those Germans over here. Don't let those guys through now. There we go. All right, let's make a beeline down the highway. These units are wounded. I don't think I'll be able to bring up Studebakers without getting destroyed. Germans are also very clever at killing my mortars. I've never been good at monitoring mortars or a lot of my units, but I just like to see the line be pushed. I like to see the attack initiate. Tiger's attacking again. If I could get one of my allies to possibly... Actually, let's try our mega artillery. Well, they've actually destroyed one of them. Oh, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. We still got 3. Alright, let's launch our tactical nukes and see what they can do. Oh, they're actually dropping artillery on an IS-2 all the way back. The Germans are so desperate. Does anyone have the German version? Is the German version cut or uncut? It's the director's cut, I think, with the special features in there. The director's commentary. I'm assuming does it come with certain symbols and such? Should be able to see it on the screen there. It doesn't matter too much. Some of the game actually has it, some of it doesn't, but the rules are the rules in order to make sales in Germany and other places, so The goal ultimately for this company is to make a good product, to make you want it, and of course, do it legally and have you buy it. And so far, so good. Nashorn trying to escape. Don't know if that artillery is dropped. Wow, the Germans were able to cut down most of my tank forces there. That is so epic how a Tiger can just hold the line like that. Alright, well at least I hold the village. And it'll be a defeat in 3 minutes, which is why I'm rushing through. Some of the times you just gotta push so you can take objectives. Just gotta go. Wow, that village fight was a hell of a battle. That is going to be epic playing against somebody. Of course, these maps too can be played in multiplayer. So, essentially this is like a skirmish map with just more detailed objectives on it. So that's a good way to kind of show off how everything's going to function. Artillery hitting everywhere. Are our tactical nukes ready again? Wow, they have 14 rounds? I can't believe they have so... Oh, good. Let's call out some more artillery. I can call out more of these. And what do I have in store for the enemy? These can actually call out radio. Alright, let's get some more recon up. And let's get them fighting in the village too. These are actually snipers. Excellent. Female snipers roll around and... Damn that artillery. Just trying to go for those objectives. Come on, boys, we gotta push. Get in there. With this being deep into enemy territory and with them having so much artillery there, that's pretty difficult to do without the right units. Mostly that we need allied support. So doing this alone with tanks, we're going to get cut down from Tigers. And infantry is just going to get cut down by machine guns. Have we repaired this yet? Jeez, everything needs to be repaired there. It needs a whole new coat of paint, a new interior. Well, at least I took my objective. That'll end in a major defeat, I believe, because of the objectives we hold. And in total, that's, what, 5? So 1 of 5. Not too bad. I took my position. This has got to be playable with players. This would be epic. Let's try our snipers a little bit and see how they work. So snipers are very good at taking out emplacements, such as the F.A.Q. that we had before, and I don't think we got access to them until a later phase. Maybe we did, but they're also very difficult to get into position. Like, for example, in giant open territory like here. We could have maybe brought them up here, but I don't think they have the range for that. That would have been a shot of over 1,500 meters in World War II. That would have been a hell of a shot. And let's see. I don't know if it tells me what their range is. Range is 1,000 meters. So that would have outranged it slightly. Oh, Germans took the objective again. Just got to scoot over a little bit and ask for it back. We're just going to go over there and have a physical discussion with them. Let's have the snipers push up and just start shooting anybody who's exposed. At this point, in order to hold on to everything we got, we just got to spam. Ooh, there's a 10-man squad there. Oh, and lucky for them, they captured it at the last second. Very good. So 0 out of 5 objectives held there for the Autobahn. So there's a little bit of challenge to these. And I think, again, if I play it on medium, a whole different result could take place. So you've got all these objectives to play on both the Soviet side and the German side. And then, of course, all the different decks that you can play as. So, for example, if we wanted to do cavalry action, we could select that one and play as both the... I think if we hover over it, it'll say what it is. Well, here, the 219th Tank Brigade or the 9th Guards, or you can play as the Panzer Division or the Cavalry Brigade, so either way. And just beautiful pictures from the game, too, in there for each setting. Oh, I see. Difficulty, medium. Okay, so that just adjusts the AI. Okay, I thought it would give maybe different points or something. So there you go. So that's really something I'm looking forward to, and I hope they add a lot more to these, because these are really great. Terminus Krupki and Stemming the Tide are probably my favorite, because they're 2 versus 1 on a very desperate defense. So speaking of which, let's go ahead and try one last battle here. Let's do a little multiplayer, and let's try a. I want to do a little front lines mode where I get to defend now. I don't think I've done a defense yet. Oh, I actually haven't created a deck yet. But that doesn't matter. There's already pre-made. So random allied pre-made battle group. I want to make it a breakthrough is the name of that. I thought it was frontline, but it's breakthrough. And we'll do a blue attack. Should be a one-on-one. Maybe we'll do a 2v2. Well, I guess it depends on the map. And one that I haven't played before, which is probably most of them. I stopped playing for a little while between the beta and release. Oh, Bobar. That's going to be cool. Has that got rivers through it? It's hard to tell. Some of these could be rivers or roads. It looks like that's probably a river. Alright. Now we just wait a little bit for somebody to join. I think this is the size of the map, too. That blue arrow, or that blue bar, shows how... Oh, wow. That's amazing. How extensively large some of these battlefields are. And I think... Let me just hop out for a second to see if 10v10s are up. Yeah. 5 out of 10. Oh, there's... Actually, these are AI battles. Oh, there we go. There's the 10v10s. Holy crap. So 0 out of 20 players here. The game has just come out today, so people are just getting it. And of course, you know, there's not too many people playing it. But also you can do a 5v5 comp stomp too. So if you want to fight against the AI and try out some new decks, that's really good. That allows you to make a deck and then kind of just try it out without too much pressure. So if you want to just fight with your friends against a quick little easy AI and see if your tactic works, you can go do that and test it out in the real world. So many more options. That's got to be something that we applaud. Isn't that right? That's right. That's right. It's very good. Very good indeed. All right, let's go to a custom game. I want to try to get into multiplayer. It's good to see the actual lobbies here starting to come to life, being breathing their first breath of life. What do we got here? Oh, this one looks cool. And there's different sizes too. Ciano. Oh, that looks nice too. Let's try this one. I like this. A narrow defense. Lots of rivers and lakes. I'll defend as the Germans, I think. I just played as the Soviets. We'll try to mix that up again. And I played that deck before, so let's try something new. Not sure exactly what this one is. We'll go in blind. Doesn't matter too much. So in our first attack, or in our first playthrough, we were able to successfully hold the train station and almost retook that village there. So that was an epic battle. And then in our last one, or rather the one before that, we were able to see the campaign mode a little bit, which really looks like it's going to be very strategic and very complicated. Probably one of the last things that I'll cover in the game. So I probably will end up doing some of these historical battles just to kind of, you know, buff out some of the rust, and then start playing some of the, well, beat all the campaign on both sides, and also play some multiplayer, especially in this breakthrough mode, because I find it to be awesome. And then start playing some 10v10s, which seem to be really... Oh, you need some crazy communication for the 10v10s. Or none at all. Alright, we're waiting for a 1v1. Hopefully somebody comes in. We can actually make it up to a 4. So that's the nice thing about these maps, too, is that you're not limited to any sort of size. If you want to play on a huge map, just 1v1, you can. And if you want to play on a tiny map with 4 players or so, you can do that. I believe you could also host 10v10s. You might need to rent a server for that just because it's quite epic, but with a 10v10 you can play quite tactically with very limited points, and that is very interesting to me. Imagine in this game, on a huge scale, instead of commanding just a couple of troops, or rather a huge army, just a couple of troops, you got a T-34, maybe 3 or 4 squads and a recon unit, and you're playing extremely tactically. And that means high communication. So this game can be like it just can be a god tier game depending on how, you know, how you connect with people. And there's lots of people in the community who do want to try their best and who want to, you know, spreadsheet everything out and need a victory for their survival. And then there's other people who just kind of want to experience the kind of the expansion of Steel Division into Steel Division 2 on the Eastern Front, and then also get access to all those other units too, depending on what version you want to buy. But of course, if you check the Steam store, all those options are there, including buying the DLC later if you just absolutely fall in love with it. And this game, of course, does have a pretty steep learning curve, but of course, we're talking about thousands of units from the Second World War, and so it's pretty much impossible to, you know, not be intimidated by all those units, especially if you know what you're talking about. Or if you played a lot of games such as War Thunder or the previous Steel Division, things are different. Things have changed, and there's a whole new side of battle to learn on the side of the Soviets. Still waiting here for a battle. Somebody jumped in there a second ago, but then they kind of left. Maybe we should try somebody else's game. I really wanted to do Breakthrough, trying to defend on myself. What about the still have the beta issue thread? I don't know anything about that. The developers would be the ones to contact on that if there's any sort of issue. It's launch day, so, you know, as all things, there's always a hiccup or two, but Eugen Systems always been pretty dedicated to making sure things get fixed. And, of course, then they meme on themselves about that. What is this? Desperate Measures 2v2. Oh, is this frontline mode? Oh, perfect. Alright, let's just do this. Although... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is... Oh, my goodness. This is actually what I wanted. I didn't know this was here. This is actually those historical missions, but against players. Yes! Oh, I didn't know that was here. That is a big find for me. That's a win. Alright. Well, this just got epic. Is there a ready up button? Yep. Switch to ready. I'm good to go. What are these units? 8th Mechanized and 35th Tank Guards. Looks like they have the same symbol. I wonder if that's a glitch. I don't think both these units should have the same symbol historically. Alright, well that's awesome. Well, hopefully I don't have to leave this battle. I'd hate to bail out on Captain Duck there, but we'll see what happens. And then, of course, the chat is hidden down here, too. So there you go. Oh, there you go. Somebody recognizes me. Oops. Alright, hopefully we can get some good stuff in there. Alright, well I've readied up. Oh, actually he has a medium AI on his side. Okay. Well, that's going to be interesting. So that's another good thing too, is that you can have an if it's a late night and nobody's on because it's just like 2 in the morning and you can't stop playing Steel Division 2 and you can't get a game going, you just obviously can assign an AI up to insane difficulty. And that might be a good thing to do too in Desperate Measures 2v2 like this, or any of the other games like that 2v1, you and a friend defending against like just some overwhelming AI, or maybe a friend who's not so into these games yet but considered buying the game and they still have their training wheels on, such as me after 9 Eugen titles or something like that. I've almost got the first training wheel off. One of the screws is loose on the first one, so I'm almost a big boy. But pretty soon, you and your friends will be able to, well, right now, because it's available now, but you'll be able to kind of help somebody learn a little bit more about the game. Maybe you're good at it, maybe they're not so good. You give them a hard AI, and then you go 2v1 against your friend in an AI and encourage them to learn more. I've seen a lot of great players, and as some were saying earlier, there's a vocal minority that's, you know, aggro and wants to win every game, and any loss is unacceptable, whatnot. And then there's a great group that will stick it out no matter what's happening, even if they're down 1,000 points, and they just want people to learn and play and win, or try to win. And some of the best battles that I've had are usually ones that I lose, and they're by a very thin margin. And some that I won too. So when you play this game, if you're not scoring total victories every time, that's usually not how it goes. It usually is minor victories, minor defeats. Hungarian, I guess, defending. Let's switch it to breakthrough. Red attack. 750. That seems good to me. I don't know anything about these decks. All right. Oh wait, is that Canadian or American or something? Actually, I have no idea. Hi there, Marvin. How you doing? You still prefer Sudden Strike? JK? I'm glad you mentioned that, because those games like Sudden Strike and Battlefield, or sorry, not Battlefield, but Blitzkrieg, those are the games that got me into this. Essentially, I went from games like Blitzkrieg to games like World and Conflict, which was kind of more arcadey, but then this game is really like it's really combining a lot of... Oh, this is a beautiful map. This is wonderful. Doing good there, Marvin. I'm very excited for the release of Steel Division 2 here today. I really want to see a lot of people coming in here and kick butt. Oh, this is great. We've got a lot of defenses. Again, I'm playing with randomly made things, so I don't know exactly how to use them or what they consist of. But when you go in there and you play the same deck over and over and over again, you're going to know what's up and you're going to know how to defend. All right, this time, no Operation Goof Off, no clicking the Launch Battle button. That should be down here. I made first rookie mistake by clicking Launch Battle when I wasn't ready. Make sure you don't do that. But a lot of the times players are hesitant to click that button because they never know if they're ready. You never know. 3 levels of elevation in this game too. You can see the base elevation, level 2, and level 3. So you can really build things up high and build almost impregnable fortresses. Let's put a couple machine guns here and there. Essentially, machine guns are really good, and AT guns are good where you're going to have a very congested area that you can't really defend that well. And it is a good idea to layer defenses, too. So each one of these little flags is an important objective we have to hold. So I'm going to put machine guns and pack guns next to each other, especially on the bridges. And I don't really have a lot of room here to build in front of me. Would be nice to find this stream outside of Steam. I am recording as well. A request by Eugen Systems that I record what we do here today, so they can continue to show it off. And that's a good thing. There's a lot of great people who are wanting to play and showcase the game today, so that's great. A lot of reviews going up, people saying that it improved upon most things that everybody wanted from Steel Division 1. And so that's really good. Great music, too. This is going to be... I don't usually get to listen to this because it's, you know, as a YouTuber, it's basically copyright heaven. Or hell, I guess you could say, for all that. But this music's definitely building the hype. Did that trench go down? It sure did. So I can build some barbed wire at the bottom. We do need to get rolling as soon as possible, so I'm going to try to minimize some of the things. But this is just for example. I'm not here to be macho. I just want everyone to really be interested in this title and to feel comfortable being very uncomfortable with the amount of units that are there. If you're feeling uncomfortable in this game, you're doing it right, because there's just an absolute, just a non-stop number of units, it seems, and even more with the Americans, Canadians, French, and British, as well as I think maybe something else that might be in there. Let's put things down at random. Let's see how our defense goes. We're defending with a lot of light units, medium units, and heavy. Oh, this is a very well-balanced deck. This looks pretty awesome. It is a great game. I played the beta and thought it was just fantastic. And when I started the full game again today, I was just like, wow. Can't believe they did it. You never get the full taste of a Eugen game, Eugen Systems, until they release. I mean, they always kind of hide some things towards the back, and they don't really tell everyone everything what's going on. And they like to put a pretty nice polish on a lot of the things that they do. And they're very much a tight-knit community that when there's a problem or something, people aren't happy about something, they let them know, and it's fixed as soon as they can. And they let everyone know it. Hey, we're working on it, that type of thing. Alright, we got a half-track with one of those groups. That's cool. We're going to just throw units around at random. I don't know what we're going to encounter. Except for a billion Soviets, so that's going to be fun. Let's put some units around. Where's I got? Yep, trenches up here. Good. Should get some support units. Oh, no machine guns. Oh, I was hoping that. I had some, but I guess not. Alright, let's put some infantry down. So a lot of zooming in and out in this game. A lot of people are always asking content creators constantly, hey, please zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. This is the type of game where you need to be in and out like crazy. Yeah, if you're uncomfortable in this game, you're doing it right. There's a lot to learn. There are millions and millions of trillions... No, I'm just kidding. There's thousands of units, and they're used many different ways, from aircraft to defense. I mean, that's just the way it's played. Okay, let's go ahead and offload our troops. So that's one of the things you can do at the start, too. If you have certain decks, you can... I believe you can make it so that way the troops don't get a transport. If you're building a defensive deck... You can build decks catered specifically. You could build the same deck and build it 6 different times. You could build it for attacking, for defending and breakthrough, for attacking with heavy tanks, for attacking with medium tanks. And it can all be pretty much the same division. So that's incredible. Soldier 25, hello to you. Good to see you here. Pillars of the community and other people are here. So if you're watching on Steam right now, you can click or tap that show chat button. You might be able to see that. You can ask a question if you like. I might not be the expert, but I'll be able to try to answer some things. Enemy half-track there destroyed. And a loader wounded on what seems to be the British. Are these the Canadians attacking? What? Oh, yeah, okay. I guess we're dealing with some Americans or Canadians here, because they're in the game as well for pre-order. I don't even know what that is, but I guess I thought we were going to see a bunch of Soviets. But let's just call this the Lend-Lease Extreme. This is the Lend-Lease Extreme deck, where they're actually literally... Western people. It's so extreme that they lent them the whole army. Alright, so let's see. CMP's coming through. So again, you can see units from D-Day as well. This is obviously not historically accurate, but the ability to do that is cool, because then you can recreate Operation Unthinkable. And that means that we could be simulating, for example, what if this was not the Eastern Front, but more Berlin, outskirts of Berlin, and now the Soviets and the Germans are defeated, the Soviets and the British are battling it out, that type of thing. So you can simulate anything you want. So anything from, just random experimentations of, hey, what happens if I just buy nothing but Katyushas? Oh, okay, well, I'm never doing that again. Which you have to do. You gotta do it. Like, you're obligated. Like, what happens when I do this? Like, what happens when I unload a truck near a trench and the troops go and hide in a tree? Heinrich, that one poplar ain't gonna help you. You gotta get in that trench. Alright, well, we do have the Lukes. Oh, I love that tank. I love that tank a lot. Alright, let's keep adding troops to the front lines. Look at that beautiful I think that's a 37 up there. Oh, nice. It's knocking those Shermans down. Let's capture that with some additional troops. Oh, that's the 50mm. Excellent. What edition to buy? Not sure if I understand exactly what they contain, what their impact is. If you click on each... That's a very big problem with Steam, is that sometimes there's a lot of information, a lot of different versions. What I would recommend you do is they're probably divided into different deluxe editions, like deluxe, super deluxe, mega deluxe, that type of thing. 6 exclusive aces, impacts, looks, or actual ace units for multiplayer. Am I expecting to go to single player with friends? You can actually... What I found out just by playing this today is that a lot of the single player stuff, aside from the main beefy campaign, which is like a half the game, is all playable. So there's situations and scenarios that you can play against the AI, or you can play against players. So if you first want to learn a little bit and play against the AI and put it on medium until you got your base, then you play it on medium, and then you're like, okay, I'm ready for players, then you can play the same scenario in multiplayer too. But I think ace units are only for looks and... oh, wait a minute. Darn it. They blew up my PAC 37. How dare they? Great thing in this game, too, that I didn't show off and I haven't seen is this slow motion. If you're playing in single player, you can't do this in multiplayer for obvious reasons, but you can slow it all down and you can actually see the action in slow motion. So you can watch all the shells flying across the river, you can see how they lob and how they hit. So you can go down into bullet time. You can do the same in replays, too. There's replays in the game as well, and the cool thing about that is if you absolutely get demolished and you don't know how, and you want to learn, oh man, how did that guy do that? You go watch the replay, the whole map is revealed, and you can see everyone's moves and when they called out stuff. So there's a lot of tools to learn in this game. There's a lot of reading to do too, so you might want to probably take the rest of the month off just to play Steel Division 2. I mean, I'm no economist, but you'll probably be fine. You can probably feed your family off of winning a couple games in Steel Division. Oh yeah, look at those Stooks go. Now, I've sped up time a little bit just to watch the carnage here. Wow. Sherman DDs are actually holding their own against the Stuke 3s. Here comes the supporting artillery, a great combo. I'm going to leave those guys there just to kind of show you what can happen there. Vehicles can become damaged and won't be able to move until they get supply vehicles to repair them. And then, of course, another great thing is to just pound them with artillery to get those units to basically freak out and pull back. All right, we got some bombers at our disposal. 20 millimeters, and we also have some regular bombers. Oh, wait a minute. All right, time to call it the flak then. Let's call out a couple of these to the center. And we're playing way faster, so I haven't had a chance to call out all my units. Let's get to the next phase and see what we can call out for more planes. Let's get some JUs up here. JU-88. Let's try to bomb some, let's see, where's that enemy artillery? Got our troops up here. Get these guys deployed. Again, as I mentioned, some troops come with Opel Blitz trucks. Just the trucks with simple canvas covers, they disappear. And so half-tracks can actually stay and do some real damage. Let's try to get some JU-88Cs. Let's try to hit these Shermans now with 20 millimeters from the sky. Also light vehicles. We're just going to try to bomb them and see what happens. Let's see. After I'm new to this series, are unit interactions like rock, paper, scissors, or is there RNG? Nope, there's RNG. But obviously, if you bring a Sherman to a Tiger battle, you're probably not going to have a good day unless it's a Sherman Firefly. Yeah, the game takes a very long time to learn. I mean, I would recommend anybody go play single player first, because at least there's some new experiences there against the AI. The AI is quite talented in finding holes in your lines, and it might make you a better player before you go play multiplayer, unless you've had a ton of experience in the beta. And I love this type of content where there's scenarios created. But here in this breakthrough mode against the AI, I can create my own scenarios. You know, I'm tasked with defending against apparently the Soviets, who are now part Canadian, I guess. Let's call out some more planes. These are very good. Focke-Wulf. Oh, these are great. Recon aircraft that also can attack. And they're like fighters. So it's a really great way of spotting light artillery, such as maybe a mortar team, and then just popping them. Or like, for example, the Vickers HMG that's out there. So yeah, don't be afraid in this game to take risks and make mistakes and lose, because eventually those will become victories as you learn what you're doing. So again, that learning curve, it's not a wall, it's not a 90-degree, but it's more like steps. You will need to kind of take step by step and learn all the differences between the infantry and how the fallback system works and being pinned down and things like that. So, but this is knowledge. Most of the people you'll see presenting today, and of course everybody who makes videos on this, has probably been playing since definitely since the war game European Escalation / Airland Battle / Red Dragon days. And so all of that combined experience can come over to these games too. Alright, we got access to a bunch of Tigers. Let's throw those up on the line. Let's see what happens here. I just want to see some cool tank kills now. And this is definitely one of the things you should be doing on the first day of the game, is just create some crazy decks and see how they work. Essentially what you're trying to do is, it's almost like, as somebody had mentioned earlier about rock, paper, scissor, you're trying to create a rock, paper, scissor to somebody else's division, but that doesn't mean you're completely defenseless. If, for example, somebody has a bunch of Tigers and you've only got T-70s, that doesn't mean you can't kick their butt with some recon units that have some incredible AT weapons. So that's definitely important. Alright, we're speeding up just to kind of see more things play out. Looks like this recon actually has some bombs on it. That's kind of nice. Oh, there we go. A 4.2-inch mortar for the Brits. Let's see how that works. Stoogs are getting punched back a little bit. 20 millimeters, we're going to spread out a little bit. It'd be great if you take care of your planes who just got shot down by AA. Well, if you were actually watching the stream, you'd know that we were actually just exploring and showing off how the game functions, and not to be a super aggro pro. And this also shows exactly what happens to planes and how they can be shot down. For example, the radiator there can overheat, and then the plane is less mobile and then can be shot down by mosquitoes, that type of thing. So it can be a lot easier for anti-aircraft, for example, to pin down a unit, or to rather cause a lot of havoc to a unit, and then to engage it. So if, for example, I call out a fighter, let's try something slow to lure them out. Oh, no, they're evacuating. A good thing you can do, actually, is call out a plane and try to get the enemy to call out a plane to counter you. So let's kind of fly around a little bit and see if we can get their attention. But essentially, if the enemy was able to call out an aircraft and we flew over our own AA wing like that, then we lure them right into a trap. But anti-aircraft guns are not the best of all that type of stuff. Nagase, aren't you supposed to be up in space right now anyway? Didn't you get on the space elevator? Go to the moon? Alright, finally phase C. Let's see what happens here. Now this seems to be is this a napalm bomber? Napalm bomb, 2 kilograms. What? I've not seen this function before in the game. Well, let's do some more learning. Where's those damn mortars coming from? Right there. Alright, let's drop some napalm on those mortars. Seems like there's some more. Alright, let's see what happens with these napalm bombers. I'm new to this, so I don't know what happens. Oh, there they go. They look like cluster munitions. Well, damn, indeed they are. What are they? Oh, it must be 2 kilogram multiple munitions. Okay. So there's lots of information, too, you can bring up on the screen. If you're wondering how something works, or if you want to learn more about it, I believe you can press the I key while you click on a unit to bring up more info. For whatever reason, this one's stuck. But if I bring up the infantry, I can't seem to get that one to disappear. But there's ways to learn more about stuff. Alright, so these planes are on their way out. Why am I playing the game at a fast speed? Well, because we're on a time limit here today to showcase as much stuff in a short amount of time. So it looks like those napalm bombs definitely disrupted the artillery, but it didn't stop it entirely. Alright, ME-109 G4. Let's go ahead and see if we can... Oh, never mind. So much for that. Goodbye. I was going to say, let's get a kill on that one. Let's watch that plane, but it went down before we could finish there. Alright, well, that's alright. So the enemy is going to get a minor defeat here. I haven't been paying attention to objectives that we're losing, so they've been doing a little bit of a breakthrough. But overall, we can counterattack and recapture those positions. So the absolute goal here is to maintain all these flags. We want them all to be blue. So for example, in the town here, we want to pump in more and more reinforcements to recapture those. So for example, there's a lot of units down there. And as you can see, we're just pushing back to retake all these objectives. So the enemy's going to have a minor defeat in 8 minutes, which is interesting because I think we still have some pretty important objectives here. I'm still holding important things like the bridge and the hill mostly over here. Darn it, Tigers, didn't I tell you to come over here? Wow, they actually wield a 6-pounder AT gun up here. Crazy. 20 millimeters are there, we can still counterattack positions. Essentially what we'd want to go for if we were playing for real is that farm there is still critical, and then of course anything in the town, but since we're playing in fast speed just to kind of see all the flashing lights and all the cool explosions. There is an option for playing it slow, yeah. Here's the slow-mo option. Although we gotta find something cool to happen. Oh, here we go, Tigers are about to fire. Yeah, there we go. Oh, look at that. That's screenshot fuel right there. Tigers crawling over the hill. And lots of fire and stuff in the background, all that smoke. So yeah, we should be able to counterattack and take the farm. Alright, we've got about 2 minutes left. I'm going to just speed things up so we can see it all kind of unfold. Let's watch the Tigers crawl. Oh no, it looks like I've been defeated by the British. What am I going to do? Oh, had all of our infantry driving there. That's right, we're going to just counterattack. Mindless counterattacks now. Let's see what we can take. Lots of Tigers being destroyed more than likely by AT guns that are off in the distance, or close-range infantry. So you always got to watch out for that kind of stuff. So look at that, just beautiful. Oh, darn it, I wasn't able to go into slow mode. No! Oh, I won. Darn it, I won. Darn it. a minor victory, but could be improved with a little bit more attention and stuff like that. Alright everyone, that is my time today to showcase Steel Division 2. This game is, I think, going to be a new favorite for mine, especially since I literally just discovered the fact that you can play historical scenarios with and against friends in the multiplayer. So if you like skirmishes against AI, if you like historical battles, if you like a big overwhelming campaign, this is definitely the game for you. But also, if you're intimidated by stuff and you don't know too much, again, you're meant to be scared and not know what's going on. Hop into the armory, do a little reading, and learn about every single weapon on the Eastern Front in 1944. That's my time for today, everybody. I'll be back for more on YouTube. If you want to check me out, there's my link there, youtube.com/ICBM Raptor 2. Just search Raptor Steel Division. You should be able to find some more videos if you're still on the fence. And I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Have a fantastic day. And hopefully we all see you on the battlefield. Good luck to you all. Have fun making some decks. And make sure you wreck and get wrecked at the same time. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.